Hi, my name is Patrick Kramer, and I will be presenting my presentation on building a stronger nonprofit and workforce for focusing on the employee retention rate for fund for the public interest. So the problem we're encountering right now is that there is a very low retention rate for canvassers, not only just in fund for the public interest, but also just nationally. And what I'm trying to do is figure out a plan and a program to try to address that issue. Because as is, a lot of resources are being put into constantly hiring new people, losing experienced canvassers, and potential future leaders for any sort of campaign. So before just, anything, I wanted to look at the root cause analysis and just try to see what the issues were. It looks like a lot of employees lack experience. There's limited mentorship and guidance. A lot of the onboarding is inconsistent and there's not standardized training. From management, there is a lot of heavy workload, especially early on in the campaigns when they don't have any field managers yet. They have limited time to develop these employees. There's a lot of burnout, a lot of stress, limited job security. And then there are seasonal workforce fluctuations, specifically with school and a competitive labor market that steals potential people who want to work as a canvasser away from canvassing. In fact, nationally, campaign offices all over the country, about 74.6 of them have reported job vacancies. 72.2 of them have cited salary competition as reasons people aren't being hired or are leaving and going somewhere else. 66.3 of them have cited insufficient funding for their missions, and 50.2 of them have cited stress or burnout for leaving nonprofit work. Um, so in order to combat that, we are using this equity framework, which is targeted universalism. Basically, we're trying to reach a specific standard, but we know that some people coming into this are going to have all sorts of backgrounds, meaning they might need different support in different ways. Not everybody can be treated the same way, but we want to reach a common goal. New canvassers, we can provide extra support for them early on, standardized onboarding. Employees that have already been trained but are still needing support can get it from mentorships and check-ins. Experienced canvassers require, growth opportunities and opportunities to become a field manager or a director, leadership development skills. Field managers themselves require extra training and resources to deal with this new management support. And who benefits? Everybody, from the employees to the managers to the organization to the campaign partners to communities in general that we're trying to spread our missions to. Um, so this is our logic model. This is based off of the CDC's logic model, where they have inputs, activities, outputs, short-term outcomes, and long-term outcomes. For us, we need our inputs to be funding, leadership approval, managers that are on board, extra training materials, and better technology in order to do this. We're looking for activity. The next step is what activities we can do with that. We can begin our mentorship program, standardize onboarding, training our managers, and getting employee surveys so that we can learn as we go. Outputs, we're hoping for better trained canvassers, having mentors assigned to their mentees, and getting extra feedback as we go. And then short-term outcomes, we're hoping for better onboarding, higher engagement, improved satisfaction, which will then lead to higher retention, a better experienced workforce, and a stronger organization that can reach those missions or goals that we have set out for our campaigns. Um, this is the roadmap for that. At month one, we want to collect a baseline for all of our data. We want to get the, retention rate, the turnover rate. We want all, everything we can get. We want to finalize the programs and we want to get that leadership approval. Then we want to start actually doing the pilot program, start training the managers on retention strategies, assigning mentees and mentors, and implementing that standardized onboarding. At month four, we can start conducting employee surveys, gathering that manager feedback, reviewing retention and participation data. And then at month five, we can start kind of tweaking it and analyzing some of the feedback, seeing where we succeeded, seeing where we failed, identifying areas for improvement, updating materials and processes so that they can be even more efficient. And then at month six, you want to start thinking about moving this organization wide, maybe start taking this out of just this one test campaign office and moving it to another one and seeing if you're getting the same results. Does this shoe fit all? Probably not, which means you need to be able to adapt to that. We want this to be sustainable, so monitor and adjust as we go. Um, this is our budget, funding, and resource plan. It's going to cost about $12,000 total for our budget, but that's not an upfront cost. That's more of a cost you're going to get by losing time from the people who can earn you money, being the canvassers, the field managers, and the directors, because a lot of that time that they would be making money is now going to be reinvested into training people so that they are properly trained and can go out in the field and do their jobs effectively. That's why the most expensive stuff here is the manager training, mentor training, the training materials, and administrative costs. In terms of the funding, most of it will be internally from the internal operating funds, but you could get foundation and capacity grants or corporate partner support. I know that there are environmental campaigns such as done through Environment North Carolina, who could reach out to like REI Co-op or Patagonia and try to secure some sort of funding that way if they are interested in a branding deal. Resources, most of these resources will be through people, leadership managers, mentors. They're going to be taking more time out of their day to do what we're trying to get done. Other than that, the materials should be relatively cheap, and the technology is usually just going to be Office subscriptions or maybe AI to kind of smooth some sort of like a ChatGPT or a Claude subscription to try to make everything look a little bit cleaner. Um, this is our stakeholder engagement strategy and our managing resistance chart. Here we have the high power, low interest people, which is our national leadership. They're not going to be as on the boots on the ground, so they won't have as much interest in this, but they can provide updates and overall progress. Um, the high power, high interest people are going to be the directors, the campaign directors, and the field managers who are actively trying to implement this and having to change how they do their jobs and implement this correctly. They're going to have the best way that they can work with this is by having meetings and sharing what they've learned, um, so that everybody can kind of adapt at the same time. The low power, low interest people are people who aren't really interested in the campaigns or the media. Maybe they'd like to stay a little bit informed, but they're not necessarily super, important in this. But the low power, high interest people are the new canvassers who are actively being trained differently so that they can, better be educated and better have better training skills so that they can go out and do their job better. The donors and supporters that are actively giving to these campaigns that care about the mission, they are going to be interested in this as well because they want what we're doing to be as effective as possible, and we want their money to go as effectively as possible to the cause. And then community members that are outside of our organization but are still relevant in the field, because it could be another nonprofit that's interested in how our pilot program is going because maybe they want to implement it themselves, so maybe they'll be interested as well. We are anticipating some resistance, i.e., managers don't have enough time or why change. For the manager question or manager issue, the best way to deal with that is either just to integrate a lot of this pilot program into meetings that they would already be having, or to transfer some of the canvassing time that they'd be out doing, maybe a couple times a week or every day if it requires it, to mentorship time. That way they're not giving more time than they already are. Because I know that a lot of these managers are already giving 50, 60 hours a week and they just don't have enough. That we were also worried about burnout. So we want to just be able to shift the time instead of add more, because I don't think that'll be counterintuitive. And then why change our current system? This is where transparency is important because everybody here is here for the cause. And if we're not meeting our goals, which the current system is already not meeting our goals as efficiently, we have to adapt. The world is changing and we have to change with it. We have to, try new things and, see if it can do a better job. Um, so this is our risk mitigation and ethical leadership slide. A lot of our operational risks are going to be manager workload, which can be mitigated via structured mentoring using templates or other things that make it so these people don't have to, these field managers don't have to ad lib as much on the advice and skills that they are sharing. Limited funding. Well, most of this is going to be in phased implementation, so it shouldn't be a very big upfront cost. And also, it's a low cost. It's a low budget. It's not ridiculously high cost in general. Low employee participation. This is where, again, if somebody gives you confidential feedback, you keep it confidential. And also that transparency kicks in here again, where, hey, we're just trying to make this more effective. And by contributing to this, you're just making the mission go even better because, as is, things aren't going as swimmingly as they could. And we're just trying to make it more efficient. Leadership changes, we're going to document results and we're going to demonstrate the value of those as we go along. Our ethical leadership is pretty straightforward. If there is a success, report it. If there's a failure, also report it. There's no point in hiding that. We are trying to overcome anything we take, overcome any issues as we go. Any new information given to us by feedback from employees, keep that private. If people are requiring help, make sure that you are giving it to them fairly, but also judging on who needs it more at what time. Accountability, humans remain responsible for decisions. I believe the IBM quote from 1977 or 1979 is that no computers can never be held accountable. Therefore, no computer should ever be in charge of an administrative decision. That stays true today. We should not be asking AI who to fire or hire. Um, Credibility, use evidence, and openly communicate results. We're trying to have, again, as much transparency as we can because we want this to work as best as they can. We don't want to waste our time doing something that isn't going to work. This is our key performance indicators and evaluation. How will we know any of this worked? Well, we can look at the retention rate as, months go by, month one, month two, month three, and so on until 6 months, and we can check it as it goes. The same with the new hire turnover. Are the percentages going up or down? Like you can see this. Are more people being onboarded to completion, or are they still being or quitting or firing within the first week? How satisfied are people? Is it changing, before and after this program? Leadership development. Are there more people that are, being advanced to field managers or to, directors? And then our last questions kind of at the end are just effectiveness. Did retention improve? Were results based? Were the results worth the resources? And can it continue forever? Like, can this continue long term? And can this affect more and more campaign offices? That's how we're going to judge whether or not this is a successful program. So, in conclusion, better onboarding, stronger mentoring, and leadership development can reduce, or I'm sorry, can create a higher employee retention rate, can get better experienced workforce, can create a better, more experienced workforce, can have stronger campaigns, and a greater mission impact. What we can do right now is approve this budget, get the pilot program, evaluate who needs to do what mentors and mentees, improve it, and then expand it throughout the nation, throughout North Carolina, and then throughout the nation. Our goal is transferability. This retention model could be adapted by other nonprofit advocacy groups as well as canvassing organizations across North Carolina, all by giving a transfer of knowledge from the top down so that so even the people at the bottom are doing and are as best equipped to go and be a proper canvasser and do a good job. And then we're hoping to collaborate with people. Feedback from employees, leadership people, and partners will be incorporated as the program develops. That way, other groups can also use this. So there's more investment that way as well. And then a stronger organization begins with investing in people who carries out its mission. That's what we're trying to do here. That's what we're trying to have done. We want we want newly hired canvassers to really have a shot at becoming as good a canvasser as they can so they can go out and do as good of a job, spreading the word and supporting the mission that they're out there to do. Um, and that is the end of my presentation. I hope that I'm glad I've had your attention for this long, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Here's my references, and this is my AI disclosure. Thank you very much.